Questions, all right. So I am open to any questions, so please don't be afraid to ask questions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the question was, what specific instruments do I like? I dabble in a couple. So I would say guitar, ukulele, piano, and then there's two that most of you probably have not heard. It's a Native American styled flute, um, which is a wood instrument. It's not metal, it's wood, and it's pretty long. And you play it like this, and it's a very beautiful sound. And the other one is called a Rav Vast, which is a big UFO looking drum. Which is probably about this big, sits on your lap, and there are about 12 slits in it, and each slit has a different note, and you can just hit it however you want. So yeah, those are the instruments. A little bit. You can scream a little louder. Don't be afraid. Like specifically diet wise? Yeah, so actually with concussions, there's a lot of inflammation that comes with a concussion, but for me in general, I I eat plant-based for moral reasons, but that has a benefit as because it's not inflammation. There's no inflammation foods in it. I also take supplements and work with a naturopath and have very specific supplements depending on where he wants to target the area. So whether it is increasing probiotics in my stomach, that way I can absorb nutrients better and decrease inflammation, or if it's more related to specific supplements that help the blood-brain barrier and getting nutrients to the brain or keeping certain things away from the brain. So I definitely do a lot of supplements, eat plant-based, and I actually don't eat gluten because that has been found to be a big inflammation marker in people with post-concussion syndrome, so as well as migraine. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do for diet. That was a good question. So the question was, how much do I rely on myself to recover and how much do I rely on others? That's so difficult to answer. I couldn't do this alone. I am 100% dependent on my mom, who's sitting back there. I can't drive. Insurance, I wouldn't be able to take care of my insurance stuff. Scheduling doctor's appointments, a lot of those things. Cooking meals, I wouldn't be able to cook meals every day. Doing laundry even. There's a lot of things that I would not be able to do by myself that my mom has thankfully been kind enough to take care of me the last 4.5 years. And it's also simple things as if I don't feel well enough, she can get my medication for me, or get me ice, or get me heat, and a lot of things like that. So I rely heavily on her. I don't think, and my family in general, I wouldn't be able to be where I am without them. So that is a huge help, as well as my doctors. If I did not get in with the doctors that I got in with, I don't know where I would be in my recovery, because post-concussion syndrome is very widely undiagnosed, and especially with I don't want to say any specific doctors because I don't know, everyone's different, but concussions in general, people will say, go rest, you're fine. Oh, you still have symptoms? They'll go away, you'll be fine. So many people in this concussion community have been sent away from doctors, and they are 7 years into their journey. Some of them are maybe a year into their journey. Some of them have seen over 60 providers to find one that actually knows what they're talking about and how to treat them. So I'm really grateful to have my providers that knew about concussion, knew how to treat them, knew about the specific rehab, and got me kind of started from the beginning. I mean, there was a lot of things that we learned along the way, like the dysautonomia. We didn't realize I had that until a year and a half into it, which hindsight, if we would have known about it, it would have possibly changed like the direction of how we treated and how much I pushed myself. And then the last part of relying on myself, I rely on myself a lot. This recovery, no one's there to tell me what to do. I mean, no one's there to tell me, okay, Kiersten, time to ride the stationary bike. You need to get your 2 rides in. Let's go. That's no one, like, I have no coach. And so taking my supplements and doing my vision therapy by myself, coming up with even like my own exercises that I know are my weak areas, and keeping my mind in a healthy place and setting goals and having dreams, that inspiration, a lot of times people see inspiration as an outer field, you know, they look for inspiration from somewhere else. For me, I have found inspiration from within, so I rely on myself as much as I would say I rely on my family and my doctors. Vision therapy, it's fun. It makes me very, very dizzy. Specifically right now, my vision therapy is actually really cool. Are you guys familiar with like VR, virtual reality? So my optometrist has gotten into this program. It's called Vivid Vision, and it's specifically tailored to each patient, and this program has so many different games. For me, I think I might have included it in my video. It might have been like a split second. If you guys, did you see me popping bubbles? Yeah, okay. That was part of my vision therapy. So I put my headset on and I have the controllers. The bubbles are set at different distances, and I struggle with my depth perception, which is the differences in depth, and my eyes working together and a couple of other things. But that exercise forces my brain to, 1, know where I am in space and be able to touch the bubble, and 2, be able to focus on the bubble that is closest to me and acknowledge that that is the one closest. So it's forcing me to do that. But there are also, I'm very early into my therapy. I'm very symptomatic when it comes to these type of things. So we have learned to start me very, very slow, on like 30 seconds at a time. I've now worked up to 2.5 minutes. So I pop bubbles. I'll shoot at targets, which they don't move, but I shoot at the closest target. And a new one I just started like 2 weeks ago or so is pepper picking. So I'm sitting and there are like trees. This one's really difficult. It makes you really dizzy. And it's a little bit trippy because one eye looks at the hands and the other eye can see the fruit on the tree, so it's forcing your eyes to work together. So I have to pick peppers off a tree and then look and put them in the basket, and that works on my vision, of course, but because I'm also turning my head, it's working on, if you guys remember that word, proprioception. It works on the proprioception in my neck when turning and looking at it, and then allowing my neck to also know where it is in space and looking back down. So it kind of incorporates a lot more than just vision, but yeah, that's really cool. That's pretty much what my vision therapy is currently, but there's also a lot of many different exercises that isn't specifically virtual reality, like I did prior in the beginning, but yeah. Oh, I got a RYLA. I got a family. I got a very big family out of RYLA. Truly. You could go. It's okay. Yeah, honestly, RYLA as a conferee was amazing. And it reminded me to be myself, and it's okay to be outgoing and dance when you want to dance. It doesn't matter if no one's dancing in the room. You can be the only one dancing in the room. But ultimately, it gave me my people. I know in my speech I said that, it's people don't understand what I'm going through, because I look and sound perfectly fine. But it's hard for people to understand if you haven't experienced it. The people that understand the most, look around you. It's these people. These people have truly, since the beginning, had me in their thought. Here comes the cry fest. has had me in their thoughts since the beginning, and has given me a position to be who I am and be able to tolerate what I can. If this was any other group, any other staff, they would have booted me the first year, because you don't see me dancing and running all these things like everyone else can. I'm not capable of that. Someone else would have been like, you're not capable? Bye. Not them. These people, man, they're good people. I heard. Oh yeah, so really RYLA's given me a family, and just an experience like this. It's given me so much, truly. So the question was, what is it like balancing my hobbies with my recovery? That it's so hard, honestly, because basically everything I do causes symptoms, like the instruments cause symptoms, or if I want to, I don't watch TV, but it would be nice to be able to watch TV. So having these hobbies, I've kind of had to shape my mindset around things that I enjoy. And luckily I come from an athletic background, and I really do enjoy being able to ride the stationary bike. So I would consider that a hobby, but it has been extremely difficult, because on one hand I don't want to lose interest in things that I once loved, like playing the guitar or learning how to play piano or all those other instruments, or maybe drawing or picking up new interests. But it's extremely hard to stay consistent. So what I've learned is it's not about consistency, it's about commitment. Just because I can't play an instrument, or let's say I wanted to paint something or write, I like to write, it's kind of probably obvious, but if I wanted to write something, just because I can't do it every day or every week or even every month, it doesn't mean I should give it up. It just means that when I feel up to it, or if there's a day that I can maybe not ride the stationary bike and do something else and put my energy towards that, then I will choose to do that because it fills my soul. Or friend visits. It's extremely difficult for me to tolerate socialization, although as the years have gone on, there has been improvement, but it still increases symptoms. Everything's just a huge balance, and for me that has been extremely difficult, finding the balance of when to push myself and when to listen to my body and give myself a break. But yeah. hmm From the beginning, I didn't. Oh, so the question was, how was I able to get to a place mentally where I can be so positive about everything? From the beginning, I think I've always just had a predisposition to just finding the joy in things, whether that's learned in my environment or if it's innate. But when I first sustained my concussion, did not know I was as bad as I was. It took me 8 months, 8 months to realize, whoa, I actually don't feel great. I can't do things. Maybe I really do feel not good. So the first truly 6 months, I really just wanted to get back into school, get back into running. I wanted to run sections. I wanted to run states. I wanted to go to nationals. That was where my focus was. I was just pain? Nah, I'm fine. Realistically, I was having 3 migraines a week. I wasn't in school full time. I was alternating half days with full days, and I was barely getting through physically. I'd come home and I'd be wiped out. I would be so symptomatic with pain and dizziness and everything else. So I was very much in denial about everything, I would say, until I was put into therapy and they did tests and they're like, oh, everything that's wrong is kind of wrong. I was like, alright, interesting. But since then, there was a time where I was like, alright, this will be my life forever. I'll be okay with it. And I found joy. There is an ant crawling up my shirt. I found joy in setting goals and having dreams and finding things that I'm passionate about. And one of the things I did is instead of keeping these dreams in my head, I put them on my wall. So I can, whenever if I feel like slacking, or if I feel like I'm not going in the right direction, or for some reason I'm having a mentally tough. So unfortunately, my phone shut off due to the heat. So to summarize, if I feel lost in direction, I take a look at my vision board, which has all the photos of the things I'd like to achieve one day, and I remind myself what I'm fighting for. I spent a lot of time learning about myself the past few years, and in this time I found passions. But I also realized that my ultimate goal in life is just to be my best self, to live truthfully, love those around me, and make a difference. So success to me is not a definitive point on a line. It's not a measurable piece of data of, if I achieve this, then I will be successful. It's saying, I am trying my best. I am being my authentic self. Therefore, I have always and always will be successful. I used to compare my situation with the saying, it could always be worse, as a reason to be grateful. But I learned to feel gratitude for where I am and my current life situation without needing to justify it. I am not grateful or happy because it could always be worse. I am simply just grateful. I'm simply just happy in its bare form, because I can be. In order to achieve this, I learned what those feelings of joy felt like, and I brought them with me into the tough moments, with an open mind and acknowledgement that ultimately I have a choice. But if using a comparison helps you learn gratitude and find the joy, then please let it be your starting point for perspective. And remember, it's okay to feel frustration. It's okay to be sad and cry. In fact, it means you're alive and feeling the emotions of life, and that's beautiful. And it's also okay and extremely important that you seek help from a licensed professional. You do not have to be in this alone, and everyone deserves to be supported. When I'm having a difficult time mentally, a few other things I find that help are maybe listening to podcasts or audiobooks, listening to music that lifts my soul and dancing it out, aligning myself with my center and focusing on my why, listening to my thoughts and allowing myself to feel all the feelings, writing, whether that be positive affirmations or what I call garbage brain, where you literally just write everything your mind is saying, and then you rip up the paper afterwards as a way of letting go. There's also talking to a friend, smiling and laughing, and so on. Guys, I'm not anything special or any different than you, so most of us are given the power in some way to decide how we see our lives. So don't be afraid to change your lens and experiment with how you want to shoot your photo. Thank you for listening and asking questions. May you go forth with bravery and kindness for yourself and others. Want to say hi?